part of a conspiracy to apply pressure on Iran. We have precise information the Americans have devised a plot, according to which they seek to launch a psychological war on Iran, Ahmadinejad stated in an exclusive interview with Press TV on Monday. They plan to attack at least 2 countries in the region within the next 3 months, he added. He said the U.S. seeks to achieve 2 main objectives with the scheme. First of all, they want to hamper Iran's progress and development since they are opposed to our growth. And secondarily, they want to save the Zionist regime because it has reached a dead end, and the Zionists believe they can be saved through a military confrontation, he went on to say. He also advised U.S. President Barack Obama not to follow the policies of George W. Bush. In addition, he warned Russian officials to avoid playing into the hands of Washington because that would go against their national interest. Commenting on the nuclear issue, Ahmadinejad said Iran will resume nuclear talks with the West in September, adding that Iran wants Turkey, Brazil to participate in the negotiations. You notice everything is heating up, and what did Wayne Madsen say here yesterday? He thinks there's a good chance they're going to strike in the next 3 months. That's what Tarpley's saying. That's basically what the White House has been alluding to. And so right now they are preparing to strike Iran. And the consequences of this run from bad to worse. But here's Bloomberg's headline. North Korea warns of nuclear response to naval exercises. North Korea said it would counter U.S. and South Korean joint naval exercise with nuclear deterrence after the Obama administration said that the government in Pyongyang shouldn't take any provocative steps. North Korea will, quote, legitimately counter their powerful nuclear deterrence, the largest ever nuclear war exercise to be staged by the U.S. and South Korea puppet forces. The National Defense Council said, according to North Korean Central News Agency, the maneuvers, which involve 20 vessels and 200 aircraft from the U.S. and South Korea, pose a threat to the country's sovereignty and security. Ri Tong-il, an official with North Korea's delegation to the Asian Security Forum, told reporters in Hanoi yesterday. And it just goes on from there. Continuing along this line, Hugo Chavez threatens to cut off oil to the United States in Colombia dispute because there are U.S. forces massing in the surrounding areas and in the ocean off their coast. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez threatened to cut oil supplies to the United States in case of a military attack from Colombia as the dispute escalated over charges his country harbors Colombian rebels. A vocal and frequent critic of the United States, Chavez broke off diplomatic relations with Colombia last week over the claims by the outgoing government of President Alvaro Uribe, a close ally of the United States. If there was an armed aggression against Venezuela, Chavez said, from Colombian territory or from elsewhere, promoted by the Yankee Empire, we would suspend oil shipments to the United States even if we have to eat stones here, he said. We would not send a drop more, they supply about 25% of our oil, to U.S. refineries, he said, to a roar of approval from thousands of supporters at a rally for his Socialist Party. Meanwhile, the new British Prime Minister calls the Gaza Strip a prison camp, and that's gotten angry responses from Israel. Speaking of oil, BP oil spill cleanup crews can't find crude in the Gulf. As the size of the slick shrinks, experts say oil is breaking up, staying below the surface. Well, I mean, why is it breaking up? Why is it staying below the surface? Because they've sprayed 40-plus million gallons of different dispersants like Core Exit on it. And all of the experts have said this is much worse than just letting the oil float around and even come into shore, because it's releasing the methane from the oil. It's sending it underwater. It's causing even more devastation to the Gulf ecosystem and is creating giant dead zones. So that's the news on that front. And it's clear now, it's all over the news. We reported this a week and a half ago, that there are giant oil leaks in and around in a several-mile area of the original well that they claim they capped a week and a half ago, and that it simply caused other ruptures deeper down in the ground beneath the surface, and that it's coming out in other areas. And so there's a big cover-up there with the government BP trying to claim that everything is fixed and that there's other oil wells nearby that are leaking massive amounts of oil though there are no oil wells in that 2-mile area where there are multiple fissures leaking. I'm going to get more into what this means, having the war drums being beaten louder and louder with more intensity, the sabers not just being rattled, but clearly out of their scabbards with Iran, with Venezuela, with Syria, Lebanon, and other areas, and why the globalists are wanting to move towards war. And it's not because they want to stop Iran from supposedly getting a nuclear weapon. The CIA admits they're nowhere near getting it. They even tried to have Western countries like France and Turkey and then even Brazil to take all their uranium under UN inspection and refine it to a level nowhere near what they need for weapons, because they do want to have their own power supply. People then say, well, they have lots of oil. They only have half the refining capacity, roughly, they need, and import about half their gasoline and diesel. And that's on record. And the West wants to have war with them. 5 years ago, they had a soft line leader, and the UN had said that no one had ever allowed inspections to this level. They totally rolled over. And then the West said, well, now you can't even have peaceful reactors. And so then a hardliner, Ahmadinejad, got put into power. I mean, that's the facts. And, well, I'm going to cover it coming up at the bottom of the hour. I want to get to some other important news. Before then, I also want to open the phones up, 1-800-259-9231. Wide open phones, and I would hope that you would want to at least comment on any of the stories that I have raised here today. 1-800-259-9231. Coming up later in the next hour, I want to get into a caller to the show yesterday, and that short 7-minute discussion is posted at the Alex Jones channel on YouTube, also the entire show at pacman.pt.vu. But he called in and said, I was in Iraq. I just came back in the last few months, and there were Austin SWAT team there training for basically martial law. That was his words, and for setting up checkpoints, searching everybody's cars, and doing door-to-door gun confiscation. And about a third of the commenters or so were saying he was a liar. Well, I did a simple search engine search of Austin Police Iraq or Austin SWAT Iraq, and found a bunch of mainstream news articles. The first link is the Fort Hood Sentinel from March 11th, and it said that the Austin SWAT team commander and others had just returned from Iraq. So, and it's got photos of them. So that's the main newspaper at Fort Hood and in the surrounding area there in Killeen. So it's a fact, okay? SWAT team's interviewed. It's real, okay? Just like I get emails all the time and, oh, you're lying about Marines running checkpoints. And I don't even bother to send them articles out of Tennessee mainstream news, or articles out of California mainstream news, or articles out of Kentucky or Alabama with them at checkpoint searching people, photos in the newspaper, newscast showing it, because they don't want to know. They want to, and most of them aren't government agents. That's what's sad. They're just citizens who've got their heads so deep in the sand that they may never pull them out. But you know what? We don't need those timid souls who want to live in denial and believe the lie. What we need is people who will face the facts and understand history and look at what's happening to us. I want to come back and give you the latest developments dealing with WikiLeaks. The picture is really coming into clear focus now of what's really going on with this release of data, and I'm now able to more authoritatively give you my take on it. I've now completed my first wave of analyzing it.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill, and I had high blood pressure, high blood sugar, poor vision, and I really wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess, pretty much.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract, and from within a few days, I started sleeping a lot better. My blood pressure normalized, my blood sugar normalized, and my sleep really did improve.
Experience these benefits and more when your body gets what it needs with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking heart and body extract.
Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship, body scanners, sound cameras, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at prisonplanet.com.